All right, you bunch of yahoos, strap yourselves in for another episode of Dan and Don's Toxic Masculinity.
In other words, shut up, sit up, and pay attention. And welcome back to another episode of Toxic Masculinity. We're here to offer up our political satire approach on views of both national and on an international scene. We are here to offend and defend anybody and everybody. We're just a couple of crotchety old farts that have a bad habit of speaking the truth, but won't let a few facts get in the way of a good old story. We believe in America and Americans, and if this isn't for you, well, then I suggest you change the channel. We still believe in the freedom of speech, and we'll rub your face into the cow pie of reality. We'll make you scratch your head or scratch your ass, hopefully not at the same time. Without further ado, my cohort in crime, none other than the man of men, Don the Predator Frye, and I, his trusty sidekick, Dan to be Severn. And Quinn, Don, do you have your sidekick Quinn there today?
No, sir, she wouldn't get off the couch.
All right. So again, Earl Hebner is our prestigious guest here today, and we're going to get into a great deal of the facts. Earl, just so that you understand, Quinn is Don's mascot, his pet bull,
Okay.
and typically she gives her cameos on the podcast at different times, and sometimes she actually steals the show from Mr. Frye there as well.
Yep, she does that good. She's better looking and smells better, and smarter. So.
Well, I knew that the last time I saw you.
Yeah, exactly. When was that?
Oh God, I can't remember. We were at some show and you were there, and I think you jumped in the ring.
Yeah, that was
somebody, and they had to hold you back.
San Diego, correct?
I think so.
Yeah.
That's when I ran back to the dressing room. I don't want to be around you. I didn't know who you were going to get.
Well, I couldn't get much. My arm wouldn't extend that much that time, He's like a Dan Severn arm, The extensions to get that 4 inches of play.
There you go.
Honestly, how can you? For being involved in professional wrestling for as many decades, years that you've been involved into, how can you actually remember all the different little nuances? Doesn't life just kind of blur after a while?
It's beginning to. I'm getting older now. Hell, I can't remember what I did yesterday.
Yeah. Well, but
it depends on it depends on what you did yesterday, whether you want to remember it or not.
Right. Like once in a while, I'll somebody say, "Hey, you want to referee?" And I go, "Yeah, I'll referee." I said, "But I don't want any false finishes. One guy can do a false finish, and the other one, and after that, I'll be counting with my feet. I'm not gonna get up and down."
Yeah. No, that is the truth. When I see how many times that referee gets up and down, I'm like going, "Holy moly!" It's like doing, the burpee type push-ups, stuff like that. Down again, check him here, check him there. It's you definitely have to have some type of athletic ability in order to do that. And I've seen some referees like going, they're not built for this, and they're not going to last that long in that capacity. That's for sure.
Oh hell, there was an amateur wrestling referee here in Arizona. Guy was so fat and out of shape he would slap the mat with his foot. I don't know how wide he kept him around.
Earl, to get this really going here right now, I want to find out first off, how many other siblings do you have? What kind of a family? How big of a family did you grow up in? Because as I was reading things, I'm reading about you have a son that's a referee. I think there's been at least your identical twin brother, but others that have been referees. How many siblings do you have?
Well, my daughter adopted her from China when she was 2, and now she's working for AEW. She was wrestling, but she cracked a bone in her back, so she's out for a while. So she's still working, but she's doing production for them at TVs.
Wow. Okay,
And then,
that's
of course, you know, my son Brian,
yep, yep. Okay, because that's what.
you know, and then my brother, you know, bless his heart.
Well, I mean, okay, but did you only have one brother growing up then, or did
Just
you have?
one, like I had one twin brother, that was Dave,
Okay,
and he passed away in June.
Oh fuck! I'm sorry.
okay,
Know that.
yeah,
So,
no, I did not know that as well. So yeah, sorry for condolences on that one.
but like I said, like I told everybody, we were married for 30 years and never got a divorce. We traveled all up and down the roads together,
Yeah.
and and you know, it's heartbreaking, but nevertheless, we enjoyed life what we had together.
No, that's what I mean. Well, that's what you got to do in life. I mean, it's especially being involved in something like professional wrestling because it's a lot of hard miles. You're just on the road and you're traveling from one location to the next location. So it's kind of you know, it's kind of nice that you actually like the people that you're around, or you at least travel in a car that you like those people that you're traveling with.
How old were you when you get in the business?
What's that?
How old were you when you get in the business?
I was about 18, between 18 and 20, I believe, 19 or 20, something like that.
Yeah. For 30 years, huh?
Yeah, I'm running close to 45 years.
Jeez.
But growing up, did you do other sports like in high school and stuff like that? Did you do any other sports like wrestling or track or field or?
Well, I tried to play football, be a halfback, but after they knocked me further than the football, I said, to hell with that. So then I got into wrestling, and hell, that's almost as bad.
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
still getting beat up, knocked down.
Yeah, but the people are your size, so it's
Yeah, but where was growing up though? Where were you born and raised? What part of the country?
I was born in Richmond, Virginia,
Richmond, Virginia. Okay.
and I've been here all my life.
you're a Robert E. Lee boy, huh?
There you go. That was my elementary school.
Yeah.
When I first started school, I went to Robert E. Lee. It was the first school I went to.
I'll be damned. I'll be damned. Yeah. My dad, we spent a couple of tours over in Richmond. My dad was at stationed at Langley a few times, when he's in the Air Force. So we went there a couple of times.
Uh,
Yeah, the old Richmond Coliseum.
oh yeah, I refereed there, and when I first started, I was refereeing for NWA Crockett, Jim Crockett Promotions, and we would have the wrestling on every Friday at the cattle barn at the fairgrounds. And then we moved from there to the Richmond Arena. And then we moved from the Richmond Arena to the Richmond Coliseum.
Okay, so you work with the NWA was your first referee gigs?
Right. Right. I worked for them about 12 or 15 years.
Well, again, what was it that drawed you in for professional wrestling of all things? I mean, I'm just because again, I've even though I've done it, I've been I say I look at it from an outside viewpoint all the time because it's the strangest industry I have ever been involved with in my life.
Uh-huh.
So,
Well, I'll tell you, I was putting the ring up on Fridays at the fairgrounds for the
yep.
for Joe Murnick. Okay, it was called Crockett and Murnick back then, and Mr. Murnick come up to me one night and we was putting the ring up. He said, "Earl, I need you to do me a big favor." I said, "What's that?" He said, "I need you to referee tonight." Angelo Martinelli had a heart attack and passed away from Charlotte to Richmond, so they didn't have a referee. So back then, you only had one referee, like Tommy Young and bless his heart, great referee. And I said, "Mr. Murnick, I don't know nothing about refereeing." He said, "Earl, just listen. All you got to do is listen." I said, "Okay." So I started to do it. I did it that night, and I did so okay. For a guy that didn't know what the hell he was doing, was pretty good. Okay.
Well, did they just give you a referee shirt and you won it from that point on? You didn't have no right.
There you go. You know, but by being there every Friday, I got to know the guys pretty good. but
Uh-huh.
never knew exactly how it all worked. And they coached me through it. And then as time went on, Mr. Burnick said, well, hell, I can use you down through the Richmond deal, like Charlottesville, Roanoke, and all that. And that's how it began. And that's how I got my start.
So okay, just so I want me to put this up some people's context, because typically anyone that's involved in the show, you have to get there before the show ever starts, because you're there setting up everything. So you're setting up the
Right.
chairs, barricades, things of that nature,
There you go.
even up to the locker room scenario, and entrances and things of that nature. So
Right.
I correct, spot on.
You're right. And then I was doing the merchandise. When I was doing the ring before I refereed, I was selling the merchandise and everything like that. And it just worked in good. I mean, you know, I was at the right place at the right time.
Yeah. Again, that's where Mr. Fry's laughing right there. But I ran a small little promotion in Coldwater, Michigan as well. And it's the exact same thing. All the guys had to show up a couple hours before the show was ever going to start, just
Right.
so that we could set the ring on up, get all the chairs set up, get the locker room all set up, and know that you're good to go. And you're in that locker room area basically before the doors ever open, because you're trying to kayfabe, you're trying to keep this secret society kind of, keep the public at questioning
Right.
what is legit, what is not legit there. So again,
Exactly.
yeah.
But
So
you know what, Dan, most of these guys they don't even know what kayfabe is. It's probably think it's a hamburger joint now.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. No, I mean, no, it is. I always tell people I was born in the wrong era. I really should have been back in the era of the territories, because that that's what I would have been made for. I would rather have done that, because, as we talk about the cell phone here once again, back in that territory at that type of time, you could work with the exact same guy 100 different times, all in the same year, easily, and to the
Right.
point that you knew each other so well, you don't have to think about nothing. The promoter was simply to tell you who's going to be going over tonight and how much ring time to fill in out there, and that was all you needed to know. And then you go back there and go, Earl, I want you to do this, and then you can come back and do that, and
Right.
even if you forgot things in the middle of the match, you've wrestled each other for so many times, you'll get right back into the crook of
Yeah,
things.
exactly. I mean, like all the years I've been around Rick, I didn't have to ask him nothing. I knew every spot, the ball shot, the nut shot, all the shit he did. All I had to see him do was move, and I knew what it was. That's that's all it was. And like you said, hell, you're working that match with him, you
Yes.
know. And a lot of guys the same way. There's a bunch of them that I work with, The Undertaker, Austin, all of them. And I didn't have to ask them nothing. I just go, we do the same finish, or you change it? Nope, same one. Okay, got it. Let's
Yeah.
go. Didn't
When
need
did okay? When did technology start to come in? Because I know that when you first started, there was no like little earpiece and stuff like that. But then at some point there was some type of, did you have some type of communication um, microphone or something like that you could use in case someone got hurt for real, or if the gorilla had to get in contact with you, did you have some type of an earpiece or something like that in at that time?
right. Yep. I'm honestly, I'm going to take credit for a lot of that because when I first started, it was the guy sitting at the desk and he put the pencil in his mouth. That was the cue to go home. The pencil was the cue to go home. And
Okay.
And then he would tell you, he'd hold his fingers up and he'd tell you 5 minutes, and then he'd go 4 minutes, 3 minutes, and that. And sometimes the guy doing the cue would go to sleep because he held it all day. He'd be sitting there like this, and all of a sudden you couldn't see him. So I actually come up, well, I'll say I did anyway because I think I did, with the cue box.
Okay.
We have the same cue box that the TV trailers have and the Asians have sitting at the gorilla, and that's had that's had it happen. And like the cue box they can say, tell them to grab a hole when they see a guy blowing up or shit looks like crap. They tell them grab a hole, and I'll say grab a hole, you know, and then it's so important. It really is. When a guy gets hurt, first thing we do is give an X. If he's hurt, it's an X, and if he's okay, you just raise your arm or whatever, you know.
Yeah, it's a kind of arm gesture right there, so you kind of know that okay, yeah, because you again, we're kind of we're opening up Pandora's box to a certain extent, even though kayfabe's been dead for quite a few years, and it was again, correct me if I'm wrong, but what it was Vince himself that broke kayfabe because by him going to the athletic commission saying that we are a predetermined outfit to where you know
It's
we know
entertainment.
yes, we fall into that entertainment category to where that way they didn't have to worry about all the different athletic commissions at
And they
that
didn't
point
have
in
to
time.
pay. And they didn't have to pay all the taxes. That was the
Yes,
main thing for it. They got away with paying the damn taxes. They gave kayfabe away so they could make more money and not pay taxes.
yeah, yeah. And again, it's just because a lot of people they'll say, because both Don and I we've had dual careers in the MMA and professional wrestling, and a lot of people that come up because I'll typically have two belts I'll put on display. I'll always have one from the NWA, and then I have one from the UFC, and they'll all know what the UFC is, but they're like, well, what does NWA stand for? Now, say it's the National Wrestling Alliance. It's actually the one of the oldest professional companies in the history of professional wrestling. A lot of great people came from that lineage, and then like, well, I mean, you mean like the stuff like we see on television, and then they always go into, you mean that fake stuff? I go, well, don't say fake. I said, professional wrestlers are some of the most incredible athletes, doing some most incredible athletic maneuvers without the aid of safety net. When you see what they're being picked up and they're being down to, it's plywood, it's 2x12s. You know,
1 inch of styrofoam, which ain't nothing, and
Yeah.
it hurts.
yeah. Well, again, most professional wrestlers don't even realize when they just call it bumping, but
Right.
most professionals don't realize when they are being taken over and to be thrown into like a body slam or something like that. They need to hit like a martial artist. You want to hit with as much body mass as possible so that you dissipate that. You don't end up land on an elbow or something like that. You could dislocate your shoulder or something like that. You got to land as flat as possible and then tuck that chin to chest because you don't want to be smacking the back of your head.
Right. Exactly.
So a lot of these guys.
Did you like it right away, or did it grow on you?
Huh?
Did you like the sport, the job right away, or did it have to grow on you?
That's growing you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I like it. Yeah.
What would be what, I mean? Was there a fun match that you just always look forward to, knowing that you would have? Well, again, maybe let me rephrase this because I know that pulling ribs on wrestlers was one thing, but it's kind of like going. They're always trying to make people break character. So were there any wrestlers that always would try to help maybe help break your own character, stuff like that, to where you start laughing, stuff like that, because you're trying to be this, you're official, stuff like that, but now you got these wrestlers that they'll stoop to any kind of a low thing just to get something over on you or to get you to break your character. So did were you ever the brunt of any of these
For
jokes?
years, every time I did a midget match, they'd have him pinned, and I go 1, 2, and he pop up, and I'd catch him, and I throw him back. Okay, and then 1, 2, and catch him again and throw him back. And once in a while, we do a spot with them where they tackle me, knock me down, and they cover me, and the other midget would go 1, 2, and I'd kick out. But that was a lot of fun, And like I've done a lot of things with Sergeant Slaughter. I I've hip tossed him, arm drag him, and he comes charging, and I'll pull the rope, and he'll take a bump out. But that's what those guys did for me, and all of them, Flair and all of them, they gave me the opportunity to do things that other referees don't do anymore, or can't do, or won't do, and that's what made me sort of special or different.
How was it? How was it like working with Harley Race?
Harley was great.
Yeah,
When we go to St. Louis and he was working with Flair, that was just a match that could never be duplicated.
right.
That was two great guys in there, and Harley was awesome. I mean, I've never seen a guy take a body slam and pop up, take another one, take another. Hell, he'd take 15 of them and pop right up, and I couldn't believe it.
What about Terry Funk?
Oh, he was a character. He was great. He was super. I mean, if you go back and look, Don, at all these old guys like myself, it's just not the same no more. You
Right.
don't have the same uh, atmosphere or whatever you want to call it. It's just
What's missing?
back then,
What's
back
what,
then, uh,
what's missing?
everybody wants to do high spots. Nobody wants to tell a story.
Right.
It's 50 high spots, 40 elbows, clotheslines. It's it's uh it's like being at NASCAR,
Right.
going. You're looking like this, and you're not telling a story. And people, are just not interested in all that.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah. Mine too. I mean, I miss the storytelling of the business. And but I worked in Japan only, and over there is so strange because one night Dan and I would be fighting each other, to the death, and then the next night we'd be tag team partners. Uh, and I could never figure it out.
And well, when I was over in Japan, the only time you got a pop when there was a high spot, a big
Yeah,
toss, a big bump, and after that it went quiet. And then when you started coming back and do all the high flying shit,
right.
they pop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But over there, when you wrestled, you told a story.
Right.
You didn't do 80 hip tosses and clotheslines and all that crap. You wrestled, and it was interesting. Then when you did do a high spot, back then in my days over there, they go crazy.
Yeah. Well, who'd you like working with the most?
God, I don't know. I've worked.
Yeah, that's a hard one to answer.
I get that a lot, but I'll. If you take The Rock, Austin, Undertaker, Hogan, uh, all those guys, the old guys, it's hard to say. Everybody always says, "What was my famous match?" Well, hell, I've had so many WrestleMania matches. All of them, all of them are great. I can't name. The only one I can really name, the most surprising one that I did to the world, was me and my brother and Hulk Hogan in the Twin Deal,
Yeah.
and that stage had ever made it to be kayfabe till it happened. I'll never know, but nobody knew but about 5 people back then,
Yeah.
and that was Hogan, Vince, Pat Patterson, me, my brother, and DiBiase, and all those guys. But it never got out that I know of.
Yeah. I'll tell you, Terry Funk was one of my favorite people on the planet.
Uh,
He was great.
he would kill me when he come out with that chainsaw.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was it's a good thing I didn't have that match, because I'd have probably gotten fired, because I could laugh from the time I heard it running till the time he cut it off.
How about superstar Billy Graham? You ever work with him?
Right? Yep. He was awesome.
Yeah.
He was a great guy,
Nice guy. He was such a nice guy.
and he was so polite.
Yeah.
So polite. I don't think I ever seen him go off. Might have, but I've never been around him when he did. If he ever went off on anybody, I wasn't there. Or I
Right.
didn't see it. Billy was an awesome guy.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was.
You were talking about Terry Funk there, and one of the funniest things was I happened to be it was Hell in the Cell match that was taking place. So you've got Undertaker and Mick Foley that are battling, and I'm back there with Terry Funk and one or two of the other wrestlers. We're watching a match on a monitor, and Terry's got his tennis shoes they're all untied. He's kicked back, he's relaxed, choke slams.
Fully.
Yep. Foley.
Okay.
He basically he goes through, but he goes the top of the cage went through. It just gave way too fast, knocks himself out.
Right.
You got a live show, live pay per view. He's knocked out, and so it's kind of like going all of a sudden they're like send Funk to
Yeah.
where he doesn't know what he's about to do or not like that. He's gonna go out there, he's gonna try to do battle, and so people are gonna try to get in there to see if they can get to Foley to see if he's alive or whatever at that point in time. And it was just kind of just wild because no one really knew this was happening. This is a live pay per view, and it's all just simply just taking place. And all I know is that by the time that Foley comes to, he looks around, he sees a pair of tennis shoes inside the ring, and he didn't know what all took place, and that Funk had been out there and been chokeslammed right out of his tennis shoes, stuff like that. So that's the one thing that I always impressed me about the whole professional wrestling community right there is like when something goes wrong, which it will do, whether someone's going to get hurt or if there's some equipment failure, if a rope breaks or something like this, how are those athletes going to improvise, or how is the crew going to improvise to make sure people don't get hurt and the show must go on? That's you've had to have seen some phenomenal things happen over the decades.
It's it's quick thinking. You know what I mean? I mean, that's like when Arsenal was wrestling Owen Hart.
Yeah.
They did a spot where Austin hit the mat, and I walk up to him, and he says, "Heaven, I think my neck's broke. I think my neck's broke. I think I broke my neck." I said, "Okay, stay right there." Owen's messing with the crowd, right? I walk up to Owen, I look at him in the face. I said, "Owen, his neck's broke, I think. So back up, just back up and roll over him and lay there. Let him pin you, so we can get out of here." But that's what you call a referee that knows what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
You know. And once he said, "I think my neck's broke," I knew we were in trouble. We couldn't continue. Not so much to be in trouble, but I didn't want him to pick him up and slam him or do nothing else.
Right.
I said, "Back right up and just roll over him and let him grab your legs or whatever, and I'll count when we get out of here." And that's what we did. Same way with Triple H pedigreed. Pedigreed Kurt Angle on the table. Now it's his table at the pay per view, and he was knocked out bad. And he got back in the ring, and he goes, "Hebner, where are we? Where are we? Where are we?" And I was trying to lead him and tell him, And then when Triple H covered him, I went 1, 2. I knew he wasn't going to kick out, and I slid my left hand under his shoulder with this hand coming down, and I put my arm under his shoulder and pushed him up because I knew he wasn't going to kick out. And,
Yeah.
And I tell everybody, if you could ever go back and look at that film, look at it. You can see it. And I tell all these other referees, you got to be on the ball. You got to know what's going on. If a guy's hurt, then, take a bump. Just walk in front of somebody, take a bump, and ring, ding, 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 and get out. Don't let somebody like Tatanka was slamming a guy one night and broke his arm. His bone was sticking out. I saw it. And I said, "Tatanka, his arm broke, cover him. And he said, "Really?" I go, "Yeah." So he went right over, and I said, "Just cover him." And I went 1, 2, 3, and we went back, and the bone was sticking out of his arm. But I'm always been where I want to protect everybody. I'll try to,
Yeah.
Well,
And I can see it when a nasty bump happens. It's I can almost know it's nasty. So first thing I do is go, you okay? You okay? Tell me. Squeeze my finger, squeeze my finger, squeeze my hand. And that's how I do it. And if you can't do it, I'll just ring a bell,
And you
because
took
I don't want to see no. If it's a small injury, I don't want it to be a serious injury.
yeah.
Sure.
Well, you took a pretty nasty bump from Hogan in that Twins match. Did
Yes,
that go as planned, or did he fuck that up?
that was messed up.
Yeah.
He was supposed to take me, Don, and take me and just throw me right to their arms. Okay.
Yeah.
When he started running with me, I go, "This ain't the program." And he shot me. Boom! I went over Andre DiBiase and everybody, and I splintered my rotor cuff in my arm. As soon as that happened, it didn't bother me then because I was so fired up and excited.
Yeah.
And then,
You had adrenaline in your system at that point in time. Yeah.
I was flying home the next day, and the pressure on the plane, I couldn't move it. So I called Vince, and they sent me to Birmingham to Dr. Andrews, and he checked it out, and the whole rotor cuff was just busted all up. So I went down there like 2 or 3 days later, and he operated on me and said, "Oh, you won't be here long." I stayed a week because I couldn't stop it bleeding after they operated on it. So, and that was my first day at WWF. Then it was a Saturday night main event or something. I think it was called in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
So that was my first night there, and I spent 8 weeks at Hell Cell up in Virginia getting therapy.
So Hogan
Wow.
your favorite wrestler. You volunteered not to work with him after that?
I just didn't do any tossing bumps anymore.
Yeah.
Forget it. Everything's on the mat. Hit me, knock me, I'll hit the mat. I ain't hitting the floor no more.
How about Andre? Did you work with Andre?
Oh God, I loved him.
Yeah.
Let me tell you a story about Andre. We were at a house show, and it was the day before the Madison Square Gardens, and it was in a tag team, and they were doing a spot, and Andre grabbed me right by the forehead to hold me. Okay, and the next day I woke up, my eyes were black from the pressure of his hand. And then when we flew from where we were to Madison Square Gardens, they were as black as your shirt.
Yeah.
I couldn't see, so I couldn't work. And I walk up to Andre. I say, "Andre, look, you did this." He goes, "No, boss, not me." I go, "Yeah, you." I said, "Right when you held me, you put too much pressure on my forehead, and you made my eyes go black."
Oh shit.
Wow, that's actually hard to believe. That I mean, I knew they had, yeah, I mean, obviously he was a giant, but I mean, an enormous man. But it amazed me when they could take like a beer can and he could engulf the whole beer can with his big old mid of a hand right there. But wow, because
He, I actually don't. I actually think he never knew his own strength when he was working, because he would have never hurt me to begin with.
sure.
That was just one of those deals where he just, was him.
Now, who was bigger, him or Paul Wright?
Huh?
Who was
Oh,
bigger, Andre or Paul White?
Andre.
Yeah. He was a real giant, where Paul was just a big man, huh?
Right.
Uh, yeah, I mean, I wrestled for Antonio Inoki. We were pretty good friends. He'd tell me, Andre stories, and they're pretty damn impressive. But I did Inoki's retirement match, Tokyo Dome, and it's a 70,000 seat arena. They sold out, and then they sold 5,000 standing tickets too.
Hmm.
And it was like 5 6 hour long show. And it was like I was backstage and I was getting tired. And I couldn't believe it. And I couldn't believe the poor people. And I was sitting backstage with Muhammad Ali, because he was there to light the torch like he did at the Atlanta Olympics. And because they were great friends, and went out there. It was supposed to be, 20, 30-minute retirement match, saying goodbye to all the fans. I went out there in fucking 2.5 minutes. I broke three of his ribs.
Hey,
Broke three of his ribs, and then we went home real fast.
You can still talk. I'll get the charger.
I had to tell them my battery was running low on my computer. They're putting another one in.
Okay.
Oh,
Putting another one in, you gotta charge it out. You don't put another.
I'll charge it or whatever.
okay.
Well,
Yeah, no.
I know nothing about the damn computer. They had to set it all up for me.
Yeah,
Well, that's what I'm talking about in the very beginning. Technology, how it has.
Right.
I mean, I tell you, what impressed me when I first, literally on my very first day working with WWF at the time, was when I arrived at the building. Again, just what it didn't matter what the building was at, but there would be like, I don't know, 2 or 3 different tractor trailers that would be there.
Right.
But it seemed like miles of cords going every direction. And as soon as you walk into that building, there would be a wall, and you'd have all these pieces of paper on the wall. It'd be like Vince's office this way, cafeteria that way, locker room this way. I mean, but it was great. I mean, the fact that it was like an army of people that came on board. And they simply knew that we got to get this, we got to get all this stuff done. It's got to get done in pretty quick time. And I just simply knew that the first couple times that I was getting there, there's nobody else there. I mean, all the I'll say the technology people laying all the cords and setting up the sign, stuff like that. I was told that they arrived like around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm like the only wrestler that's getting there. And I kept thinking, why do I have to be here so early when the show doesn't go on until late that evening? And I kept I found out later why, because you never knew what kind of shape some of the wrestlers would show up in. And and I used to say that they had so much staff there that they'll sober you up. If you lost your duffel bag and you lost your costume, they got a couple of seamstresses there that they'll whip out another costume for you in the next hour or two. They will do everything in their power except wrestle the match for you. But if it's like day 2 of taping, they can even wrestle that match for you as well. I was really impressed with that overall operation. It's just like, wow, it is so spot on what they're doing with this. But again, I kind of understood some of the wrestlers. I don't think a lot of the wrestlers knew or understood the opportunity that was given to them, and they started to, I think, take for granted that that they're a superstar, and they just, I don't know, I just tend to sit back there. Cornette, I had a real good rapport with Jim Cornette, even though I really did not know the guy. But he would see me at the cafeteria early on, and he'd say, "Well, what are you doing there, Dan?" I'd always have my planner with me and my cell phone. I'm just working and doing this, doing that in preparation of what else I could do, because a lot of the rules did not pertain to me because I was on kind of a unique contract. I only was working I think 60 dates a year is all I was working, and everyone else was working, I think, like 200 dates, something like that.
Right.
Yeah, that doesn't count. I mean, and if you're one of the superstars and you're on all these pay-per-views, you're working a whole lot more because there's a lot more marketing things that you're involved with, promotional type of stuff that you're brought into. So I'll say that I saw it all and took it all in, but it's kind of like going, I really wasn't a part of it, although I was a part of it. It just, I never was into it real deep wise. I kind of knew that Vince did not know how old I was. Even even when Vince finally found out how old I was, he was shocked, because I think the ink was still drying on the paper when I was in his office. and he had Jim Ross in there with them and a couple other people. And also it's just to a couple of questions and stuff like that were being asked. And also Vince like, well, how old are you? And I go 48. And he looks right over at Jim Ross and goes, well, who's the oldest rookie ever? And Jim Ross just points straight back and he goes, Dad. And but I didn't. It's kind of like my hair was always gray all the whole time. My mustache and my hair was gray. I just colored it all the time that I was working for either working for WWF at the time or when I was working with UFC because I simply knew. Well, first off, walking into a real cage and walking into a real fight there, um, I'm not going to give anyone a psychological edge. Saying, "Well, look at this old guy out here. I'm about to light him on up there." No, 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 no. I'm gonna keep it all dark and dastardly looking so that get a little bit of a psychological edge right there. So it was no. I was really impressed with the whole aspect of the show and just all the people that came together with I hate to say it like this, but with the wrestlers being probably the biggest goof offs in the world, knowing that they did not realize the opportunity that is being bestowed upon them or the opportunity being bestowed upon them.
Can you, well, I know you can, but you can imagine all the guys, a lot of them that blew that opportunity.
Oh, yes.
Horrible.
Well, but okay. Earl, do you think it's because when they get there, they're influenced? Because I mean, I learned new vocabulary type words in there because I never heard the word gear before being in the locker room. They're like going because I'm in the locker room and I'm just waiting around and I'm just waiting because I'm a newbie there. I'm just waiting around. I've got my duffel bag. I'm using it as a pillow, just lay back there watching while the antics of what's taking place and guys are coming in, but you're seeing some guys that are like, they're like, Earl, do you need any gear? I go, I'm trying to think, well, what's gear? I don't even know what gear is, but you name it, and it was there prevalent of, if the road is tough, you might need an amphetamine in the morning to get you up and get you going.
Hold on 1 second.
Yep, go ahead. Yep.
Okay, I'm good.
Okay. Yeah. We'll wrap up here in just a little bit. Then afterwards.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm in no hurry.
Yeah, but again, it just being on the road like that. Some guys they need something to get them going in the morning. It wasn't a cup of coffee, but they took like an amphetamine or something like that to get them up, get them going.
Right.
And they got to work out. So now they're trying to find that local gym they're going to work out. But then now they're also now they're sharing other stuff like what type of steroids and things of that nature. Well, you need something to put you down, go to sleep there at night. So it's a vicious cycle of a lot of chemicals that are going in, and then when you find when you hear the passing of one of these wrestlers at a very young age, it's like due to the chemical cocktails that kind of went in their bodies. It's kind of it's a sad ordeal and a sobering type of awakening, but it's a tough life, and people I don't think a lot of people understand that.
Well, when I first went there, they go out like 40. We work 45 days and go home for a week. So you get injured, you get hurt, you need something for pain, and you didn't have time to get well real quick. Because
No.
if you went home, if you lost your spot, you didn't have it when you came back, and that's what you had to be there to save that spot for
Yeah.
yourself. You didn't want somebody else to get your spot, and that's how it worked for a long time. And then it finally got down to we worked when everybody just went off on the deep end. We worked like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and do Raw Monday and go home, and then go back next Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and do Raw. Monday and do Raw and go home. That saved a lot of them.
It does, but at the same token, that's rough on a home life, especially if your family's back in one location and you're just there doing this. It's
right. Exactly.
Again, I would say you're living the lifestyle of a traveling salesman. Really, is what you are. I mean, because you're traveling all over just to provide for your family, but it's usually leads to the breakdown of the family. Is what happens.
Exactly.
So, what I mean that's a little more sadder type note. What kind of stuff do you do? What preoccupies your time now, Earl?
Well, I do. I'm sort of a maintenance man around my house. I have a garden during the summer, and I cut my grass, and I go to the gym now and then, which is now and then. But other than that, uh, you know,
Well,
I, I,
again, I mean,
I have
are you on the honeydew list? Is that what it is? What you have to you have all these honeydew things you have
that
to do?
too. That too. Then I have chickens. I raise chickens
Do you?
and have fun with them.
Well, I mean, if you don't mind me asking, because again, I come from that farm boy background. What kind of chickens do you have, and how many of them do you have?
I got I got about 10, but
Okay,
I got some that lays brown eggs, white eggs, and colored eggs, Easter eggs. But I just let them run loose every day. I let them out about 10 o'clock every day. They run around the yard. They follow me everywhere I go. They're like pets, really.
yeah.
They're awesome, and I just love them. I and half the majority of my eggs I give away to my neighbors. You know, because I just enjoy going down every morning, letting them out and get the eggs and walk around the yard. And they follow me like a dog and everything.
Well, I mean, but a lot of people realize chickens really keep down on a lot of insects and
Yeah, a lot of mosquitoes. They eat the hell out of mosquitoes
yeah,
and bugs and everything. Ticks.
yeah.
They eat ticks and everything.
Yeah, again, going back on my farm days, each spring we would get probably somewhere between 400 chicks
Uh,
that would come in, and we would have them pretty much up until late in the fall, and then come fall, there would be the St. Valentine's Day massacre. All right, so but we would keep so many the good layers of eggs. We would keep those hens throughout the winter months because again, I have 7 other brothers and sisters. I'm second on the totem pole, so we got 10 family members. So it was I ate a lot of eggs. I still eat a lot of eggs. So yeah, but
uh,
people, I'll say that nutrition wise, you know, they being the food administration people, they looked at the egg as a bad thing, but now it's a good thing. It's kind of like going, it's hard to believe
mm,
what are they going to come up with next? Coffee was bad for you. Coffee's good for you now. It's like going,
right,
it's going to go for a full circle again, but no.
One year it's
right.
sugar, next year it's a sugar replacement. And then it's just crazy the way they change. It's whoever's given the most money is how they
There
conform
you
with
go.
their thoughts.
Well, Earl, is there any kind of any like social media outlet? And if someone's trying to get in contact with you or would like to ask you any kind of question, stuff like that, do you have any kind of like a website or uh
I'll have to get my wife to give you that. I'll get her to give it to me. But I just come out with my new book right here. It's Earl
okay,
Hebner.
Earl Hebner, the official. Okay, is that brand new out?
Yeah, it just come out. It's on pre-order right now, so I don't have any, but I'm gonna be getting some.
Well, no, this is perfect because anyone that sees us about your again, is this a combination of stories of the different people you worked with? I mean,
Well, it's got from the time I started. It's got the biggest thing about the book. Well, my life is in it, and then it's about the Montreal screw job that everybody has asked me for the last 30 years, and I never gave out anything about it. I give ifs, ands, and buts, but the whole story is right here, right there.
ah. Hi. Yeah, see, that's cool. You got the Dagley character going there. The Macho Screwjob is all included inside the book, by the book.
Right. And and if you look back, it's not a bullshit story. It's the official story from the official guy. No bullshit here.
I'm surprised you weren't wearing a referee shirt here tonight.
Huh?
I was surprised that you weren't wearing a referee shirt there tonight.
Oh, I was.
Well, neither one of us are good enough workers, so he's not going to get involved in it.
You can order the book at Earl Hebner Official.
You can order the book at earlhebnerofficial.com.
Okay, Tony wants to know, how's your relationship with Bret now?
We're good.
Good.
We're good. We met about 2 years ago. We were at indie shows, and he was there, and I was there, and he called, believe it or not, he called me and my brother out to the ring, and I go, okay, here comes a good ass whipping, and we got in the ring, and he put us over like $1 million, and
Wow, nice.
It was great. And in fact, on Instagram now, it'll tell you that I did a podcast with somebody, I can't remember who it was, and we talked about Bret, and they got pictures of us, and we're good friends. And I had that I used to have that shirt that says "Damn right I did" referee shirt, and people would want me to put on it, "I screwed Bret." Somebody asked me that the other day on a podcast, and I said, I'm not doing that shit. I said, we're friends, and I'm not letting a $12 shirt kill my friendship with Bret now.
Yeah.
No way. But we're good buddies now. We call each other now and then, and everything. You know, when my brother passed away, he called me and all that. We called each other around Christmas time and wish each other Christmas. And we talk now and then, you know. It's not like every day, but maybe every 3 months we'll call and see how each other's doing. So we're cool. Thank God.
Nice.
Yeah. Hey, what's that horseshoe and trophy behind you?
Oh, that's a Santa Claus and a lamp or some shit.
Oh, the horseshoes. There's the horseshoes are behind it. Next to the Santa Claus.
Oh, that's two knives with the bent handles.
It's two what?
It's two knives.
Nice. Oh, I thought it looked like a horseshoe from here, Burner.
Don, what the hell are you drinking?
It ain't good enough.
Let me see that Joe iced tea again.
Well, you know, any other place would be a bottle of bourbon, you know, but we got some buddies that make toxic masculinity bourbon. Pretty good stuff.
Well, you know what? I hope down the road I'll get to see you guys again at a convention or something.
Yeah.
But,
again, do you do the convention circuit right now?
Yeah, I've got one. I'm gonna do the WrestleMania one. You know, the one they have where they sell all the merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
It's at the building next to WrestleMania.
Okay.
Where's WrestleMania this year?
It's in Philadelphia.
Yeah. What's the date?
It's in April, first or second week in April.
Yeah. They typically have it the same time, you know, each year. Just the locations are going to be different. They tend to spread the wealth around the United States there quite a bit.
Whoever gives them the best deal, I'm sure.
Yeah. That is part of the business right there. Kind of, Don.
Absolutely.
Well,
oh, sir. Go ahead.
Okay. No, I just going to say there, I want to be kind there about Earl's time here tonight. So, John, unless you got a couple other questions there, I definitely want people to know that Earl's got his new book out, and the best way of contacting him is simply just go to earlhebnerofficial.com.
Yeah.
And that way they can get in contact with Earl and see if they can get one of his newly released books here right now.
Is this your first book, Earl?
Oh, and I got an action figure coming out on the Asylum company. They just made 2 action figures of me, and I was hoping to get them this week, but they whatever it is, they're back ordered. But I'm such a famous guy that just keep going fast. But just kidding. But,
Well,
but I
I
do
mean, just let us know when they do come in and stuff like that, because then we'll get maybe we'll get a couple different pictures, and we'll add this into the episode when it comes on out, to where we can add that there to give you a little bit more traction on some things
okay.
right there. So again, it's EarlHebnerOfficial.com is a way of contact you. So you look for the
Right.
book here, and knowing that not one, but a couple of different action figures that are coming on out
Is that your
as
first
well.
book?
Huh?
Is that your first book?
Yeah.
Your only book, one and only, huh?
I don't know why I waited till I got so damn old, but anyway, but it's all right here.
Now, and especially the cliffhanger is all the details on the Montreal screw
There you
job is
go.
all inside there. So again, it's right
Right.
from the horse's mouth himself. So there
Right.
you go. The big
Tell 'em the
seller onto
guessing,
it.
tell them the guessing game is over. It's all right here.
All right. Well then, gentlemen, Earl, I'm gonna say thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here. Have a very Merry Christmas, because it's coming up this weekend. And I look forward to seeing you again there, my friend, down the road here.
Anytime.
Since I still crisscross the country there quite a bit there, doing seminars and speaking engagements. So I know I'll be in Virginia again there this coming summer. So I'll look.
Before you go, I was with one somewhere I can't think, but your wife was with you. And I can't remember where in the hell it was. It was at some
Okay.
kind of fairgrounds. And the Butterbean was there too.
Okay.
But I can't remember where it was. But I was telling him tonight, I said, hell, I saw him and his wife at one of the conventions or something. But anyway.
Yeah. Again, but we'll meet up again there.
There you go.
Oh, we hope to see you in the Hall of Fame soon, partner.
Okay.
Definitely,
Hey,
you should be in there.
well, but anyway, hey, thank you guys very much for having me. And I hope I'll get another chance to come back on the show.
Oh, definitely.
You're real man. I'm actually, this is probably one of the first times that Don Frye didn't have his own black cowboy hat on there too. I kept thinking I would have been the other one that would have been out of the picture.
Well, what I'm wearing this in case JR needs more time off. Maybe I can fill in.
always planning. Got to be always planning. One step ahead of the game right there.
Always
Earl
have a
Hebner.
backup.
Earl Hebner, thank you for being on there tonight. EarlHebnerOfficial.com to get in contact with him for his book. Take care, my friend.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Yep.
sir.
Bye now.
Thank you for watching another episode of Dan and Don's Toxic Masculinity. You better like, subscribe, and share, or I'm going to come to your house.